Hello. Today I'd like to talk about a touchy subject, and that is divine masculine and divine feminine. Now, the general opinion or cultural view right now in the West overall is the movement that men and women are the same. I would rather preface that men and women are equal, but we are not the same. Abraham Hicks has an incredible analogy where she talks about fairness and that it's not about everyone having the same things, but it's about recognizing that people are equal all the time. And I think that it's really important to apply this to the incredible journey that we're going through right now as a species with our male and female entities. For the longest time, the species was rudimentarily divided. The guys went out and killed stuff to eat. The women stayed home and took care of the camp. We had roles to play. We knew our place. But now things have gotten more complicated because they're so much simpler. The man doesn't have to go out and hunt buffalo in order to survive. They just drive to McDonald's and get a hamburger. There's no real separation on survival level. And for the last, let's call it 100 years, people have realized that there's been mistreatment between different groups, and specifically with gender. And people have made such a big deal out of gender. But I believe that the divine masculine and the divine feminine have roles to play. And that role is recognizing that as a species, men and women are different. We're not the same, but we are equal. And our differences are what's so beautiful about that. And I don't mean what bits you've got between your legs. I mean how you identify, how you were raised may have had an effect on that and forced you into a certain perspective. If you've done some soul searching, maybe you've decided that you like that or you have a different opinion. That's fine. But there are two sides to the coin. And like politics, the irony is the centrist, the middle view, is equivalent to the two farthest extremes. And those two far extremes are not on a line. They're actually a circle. An argument could be made that dictators are equivalent to communist regimes. At least history has generally made them appear very similar. And we're all groveling in the middle here, especially in Canada, for example. We have such a beautiful system, flawed but beautiful. It's come from so long and so many trials and errors. And then we have one person on team red, one person on team blue, and they bicker and fight over this central area of just general well-being. And we forget that there's the really far extremes on both sides that are what we've really come to avoid. And I believe that that is reflected as well in the movements around feminism, where there are certain people that believe that men and women should be treated identically and there should be no gender in society. I'm not saying I agree or disagree with that, it's just that seems to be an opinion. Wage inequality is definitely a factor, and I think that's ridiculous. And there are definite reasons that those movements needed to start and need to continue. But I think that, akin to the politics, we need to realize that we're on opposite spectrums of the same being, the same entity, choosing to have a specific experience one way or the other. And to me, if you're still with me here, that comes down to what the fundamental goals, like what's the ultimate manifestation for a divine male, and what would be the ultimate manifestation for a divine female. And I believe that they are different. No less or no more than each other, but different because they play off of each other. As a divine male, I believe the greatest thing that you can aspire to is to provide for a divine female. What could be more satisfying than having an incredible partner in your life to build for and to invest for and to create abundance and wealth for in this three-dimensional world than that. It's making it selfish, but for another. And then as a divine female, what could be more incredible than to have all these wants and needs and then have to put zero effort into any of them, but to receive them all from your divine male counterpart. And that dynamic playing off of each other is equality. It is the two sides of the same coin, realizing that as one, they are representing the two aspects, the giving and the taking of the being. And as the other, as individuals, they are able to fulfill their I'm the hunter-gatherer or I'm the damsel in distress. But not because either one of those is good or bad or in between, just because they're two sides of the same coin. And I don't know how people are going to react to that opinion, so I'm starting with the internet and we'll see how that goes. But at the end of the day, I personally believe, and I'm accepting my role here in society as someone who's in a male-identified body, and I don't specifically think that it matters, but society does, and people automatically judge you. So I have chosen to embrace the role that I clearly chose at one point and to go forward with that, to provide. And my divine female counterpart, whom inspires me to do absolutely incredible things, what could be better than to have incredible things done for you and done with you? Like, I personally feel like that's positive. There could be an argument made that I'm a complete sexist. However, I think that if you objectively look at it and you take out the pain from the past, and I'm not saying that the pain doesn't exist, but if you take out the memory, the hurt, the way that people have been mistreated, and you just look and you say, hey, look, one person is providing for another, so that other has to receive. That's it. I don't think that these roles have to be set in stone either. At different points in your life, you can identify in different ways. You can identify as the receiver. Let's say you're a child. Regardless, again, of what your birth certificate says, you are receiving from your parents. At least that's the idea. So you would be representing the feminine side, and the parents would be representing the masculine side. Again, whether it's your mother or your father, they're the one providing for you. And if anything can show these days, you don't have to have specific bits between your legs to be a mother or a father now. We've come to terms with the silliness of putting specifics on a body about how that identifies. So I guess what I wanted to say is that it's time that we stop getting so offended by why we're here, and to a little bit maybe embrace why we're here and to enjoy it. Until next time, guys and girls, thank you.